It's daybreaking rise news, and it's time for the press preview. The first look at what's on the front pages of the papers, and we're starting with our sister publication, This Day, a newspaper. On the front page, its headlines, it has that edgy links Kaduna Trinitag to synergy between Boko Haram and Bandits. Government with about 7 riders. Let me just take some of them. Government paying deaf ears to killings. Autumn insist. Well, platter killings. Angry lawmakers restate call for state of emergency, demand NSA defense minister sack. Obi, killings in Plateau, Benue, horrific, unacceptable. Presidency, call for Buhari's resignation, plots by desperate politicians to get power. All right, we'll leave it there. Then just below the picture of where you see Obi and the governor of Edo State, Obaseki, holding consultation on his ambition, Obi's ambition. Banu Dode threatens to sue Adamu over a Akwa Ibom State executive. There's a brewing problem there between Banu Dode and the minister of what's his name, former governor of Akwa Ibom State. FG attributes erratic power supply, infrastructure failure to sabotage, approves 1.4 billion naira for TCN projects. And just above This Day logo, fire me. These are difficult times. Economy, security, not doing well. Page 50. And then just below the This Day logo, INEC disqualifies 106,280 voters ahead of Osun Ekiti Guba polls. Page 50. NLC seeks high-powered panel to resolve federal government and ASU crisis within 21 days. A rider union demands scrapping of NITDA over UTAS. Ken.
So this is the Punch newspaper. Security agents aiding bandits, alleged reps, and demand NSA minister sacking. The federal government's commercial loans rise by 31%, hit $14.67 billion. It's on page 26. Army arrests 12 imposters, warns against use of military belts and t-shirts. And food import bill jumps by 45% to 1.2 trillion naira. And that's according to a report from the Central Bank of Nigeria.
The Nation newspapers. Bandits, Boko Haram packed behind renewed insecurity. Has a rider there. They collaborated to attack train, kill in Plateau, says the federal government. And then you see the chairman of PDP, Yoche Ayu, there, cracks over zoning, consensus deepening in PDP. Cracks over zoning, consensus deepening in PDP. He has a rider, presidential aspirants fail to agree. And then just on top of the Nation to the right, to my left, INEC voids 1.1 million votes, voter registration. We'll leave it there for the Nation.
Moving on now to the Guardian newspaper. And this is leading with insecurity. Sacked the National Security Advisor, Defense Minister, the House of Representatives urging President Buhari. CVR, INEC uncovers 1.3 million invalid registrations to prosecute culpable officials. Rivers PDP aspirants accuse party of withholding forms after payment.
And then to the international papers, Russian menace edges Finland and Sweden closer to NATO entry. It has 3 riders. Helsinki to decide in weeks, risk of inflaming Moscow, an alliance open to membership. That's for the Financial Times.
This is the Daily Express. Prime Minister bold plan to send boat migrants to Rwanda. Now Boris faces second fine over Partygate.
All right, The Independent. What does it say? Its headline: crude deal to send UK asylum seekers to Africa, and Partygate blow to PM as minister quits. That's The Independent.
And the Eye here, Priti Patel in Rwanda signing deal to export Britain's asylum seekers.
All right, let's go to Emmanuel Bello. Emmanuel, glad to have you join us this morning on Daybreak. LG is linking Kaduna Trinitag to synergy between Boko Haram and bandits. And there's been talk, in the security circles, that even the security apparatus of Nigeria, they need synergy between them. What do you make of this comment by this day, this report?
Well, this is a very serious charge, and it's one that is worrisome. I think to some extent, puts in perspective clearly what we've been dealing with, especially with the security architecture. And don't forget, this is coming when the president promised that in 11 months he will be done with security crisis. But now we're beginning to see a clear sign of how endemic, how deep-rooted, how entrenched, almost on an industrial scale, this problem is. And that it is not just a one-off thing that you think you are just fending off people. It's the fact that we are face to face with an existential threat, a danger, all of us safe, because talking beyond this synergy that this is reporting, you see the other reports too saying that the security apparatus, the people paid to protect us, are now turning their guns on us, and that there's that collusion. I remember, this is like way back 3 or 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago, when former Defense Minister General Njuma actually used the word collusion. He said there's colluding. He made a very bold statement back then. There are people who called for his head at the time and say he's indicting the military. But here, at the very top, you have people now agreeing that there's some form of collusion between, and that is even more worrying. Apart from the synergy between the bad guys, is the fact that the ones that you see on a daily, that you think that are actually legitimate security agents, are now colluding with the bad guys. So that makes it a very difficult problem to trace. There's a video making the rounds of one of the bandits saying that, look, whatever plans were going on, whatever things the government is thinking, they're already having heads up, and they already have information concerning what's going on. So that makes it a bit difficult, because unless the federal government is going to adopt a different method altogether of tackling this, and it's been accused of running out of ideas, it's been accused of being overwhelmed, the federal government has been accused of completely losing the fight against bandits or the war against terror. So there's need for new ideas, and I think that's what they're exploring now, looking at the synergy between those bandits. It's almost commonplace. Everybody knows that some form of collaborative efforts among the bad guys always go on. It's called the underworld. It's not rocket science to think like that. But now they have to think of 21st century ideas that are in the marketplace, or even actually get external help, like one of the governors was suggesting that, look, maybe it's time to actually look for help. And of course, like the writers say, so many people condemning the killings, that's what you get all the time. But interestingly, Omogo, the presidency is saying that those calling for the president resignation are only doing because they're desperate for power. Well, I don't think so. I think the people calling for his resignation are saying that you have failed, you don't seem to have ideas anymore, you have reached the end of the road. All you can do now is offer just platitudes, words that are almost empty. Nigerians are not getting any reassurance from those words, and so that's why some people are calling for the president. But the presidency is saying that no, it's all politics. I think it's beyond politics. I think we should be worried that UNICEF is saying that 11,536 schools, are closed since 2020. Now that's beyond politics. This statistic, this data. So this problem is rooted in, or these accusations are rooted in clear facts, things that all of us know, in data, in statistics, things that you can really touch, facts and figures. So this is beyond politics. This is fact, these figures, these are people involved in this crisis. And so this is a very serious reporting that these days is doing on this issue.
Manuel, that figure given by UNICEF in this day, over 11,000 schools closed. It comes as we have an exclusive here. The families of 4 students kidnapped from the Northwestern Zamfara State College of Health Sciences and Technology. They told Arise News exclusively that the attackers are demanding 2 million. They cut down this price from 30 million because they told them that they're of the Fulani ethnic group, like they are. But the question here is the issue about collusion. Is it that the government's not paying the security agencies like they're supposed to? If that's the case, why don't we rejig their paycheck? We see policemen even in the streets of the capital every evening, flashing torchlights and asking you for some little change. Why aren't they being paid as they're supposed to? Are we going to look into that?
What would that issue of welfare? But you know, greed has no limit to what it can do. You cannot actually pay out greed. Sometimes you have to also worry about an opportunity for business, and this is at an industrial scale now, and that is why it is worrisome. It's cancerous because you have a situation where the very heart of it, we saw the collusions, we saw the very strange story of Abba Kyari and the allegations being made around him, and how they collude with the bad guys and actually stage manage or stage some of those arrests and other things. So those are the kind of stories that worry you so much, and I think it worries the police authorities too, worries the federal government, worry those who are concerned, the leadership at that level, that some form of surgery need to be done, some form of going to the very bottom of the problem. If it means increasing motivation, if it means welfare, it means doing something about it, they have to. So at the very least, you have a situation where policemen, we're talking of this huge crisis, do all over the place. Just to get them to even write a statement for you, you are asked to bring money. Bills that are supposed to be free are not free anymore. And police do all sort of, some of these policemen do all sort of things. They've been captured on camera. All sort of, crisis around this issue. So the theory that you are looking at is that, well, maybe more money, if you throw more money at the problem or you throw more money at the police, probably that will make it better. But there are people who will tell you that it's gone beyond just giving them. And we need to do a lot of that. We need to look into the welfare. Soldiers have complained in the past that, look, they've been sent to war fronts and left to die there. No one cares about them. They've made serious, very, very serious allegations. We need to look into all of that. We need to look at the agitation by the police that, look, something has to be done. What if they die? What happens to their family? Some police can see how people treated after they've died, how their families are left to be on their own. Those are the sort of things that do not encourage them to go to do an all-out war because they fear for their lives. But the bad guys on the other side don't really have anything to lose. They are ready to die. They are fighting. They're actually fighting to die. But that should be what the soldiers should be, because they are trained to kill. But of course, they're also trained to give their lives for the country. But they're wondering. Some of them wonder whether that sacrifice will be worth the while. So yes, we need to look at the issue of welfare. We need to look at the issue of morale boosting and all of that. But beyond that, we need to also look at intelligence gathering. And I think some of the crises around those issues of trying to nip some of these things in the bud before they even happen.
Just one more. The Nation newspaper, it says cracks over zoning consensus deepen in PDP. Will they ever get to a place where they will agree on this?
Okay, sorry, Amogo, I didn't get you there, but you are looking at the crisis of the PDP and zoning. Yeah, it's a continuing problem, and every day there are new strands to it, new developments. But it's a crisis that is heading to is heading to the very head. Yesterday, the report was that there have been some reports by the Lumelu committee to the very top. Now that the NEC we have to take this, to decide on this zoning crisis. So, if it's able to do that, probably it will solve the problem. And you can see the picture of Ayu there. The burden is on him now, the national chairman of the PDP, to be able to show some direction on how the PDP will zone and whether they will ever agree that if the PDP can get it right and agree on a consensus candidate, they'll be able to defeat the APC. But then these problems are huge hurdles for the party to overcome.
All right, thank you very much, Emmanuel Bello there on press.